Good Monday morning to you, and welcome to the Locked On Jaguars podcast. I am your host, Tony Wiggins. It's time to tell the truth, man. Ain't no other way to put it. This ain't it. I'll tell you more about that in just a second here on the Monday edition of Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jags, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Jaguars, where we're your first listen every day, and we thank you very much for allowing us to be that first listen. And we're free on all platforms, and it's your team every day here on Locked On Jaguars. Wish I had a show with more positive stuff to say today, but I actually don't, because I'd rather tell you the truth than to lie to you. The Jaguars are terrible, and Urban Meyer is not it. Did I get it all out real quick? Did I grab your attention the way it should be? Good, because I'm going to tell you why. So I'm going to let you know how this show's going to go today, right? I'm going to detail this stuff early for you, and then in the second segment, I'm going to tell you where they went wrong. It was from the very beginning. It's a philosophy I have, and it's sort of like cooking. When you start cooking, you know, people talk about the miracle. They talk about the first three vegetables that you use to season your pot, right? It's usually onions, celery, and garlic, or onion, celery, and carrots, or whatever they call the miracle. But for me, when you burn those onions, you got to start over. You can't hide burning those onions and garlic and then try to think you're going to dilute it down and your food's going to taste different. I think they burnt the onions from the very beginning. And that starts with hiring Urban Meyer, which I was a fan of because I wanted the CEO approach. And I still like that approach. However, turns out he's not as sharp as I thought. And it's being exposed now. So he got me side-eyeing and looking at him, looking at his entire college career, wondering if he was really a great coach or he was just a great recruiter. We're going to do that in segment 2. We're going to talk about those burnt onions. And then the other thing is, where do they go from here in segment 3? Because already I know what's going on in Jaguar land. See, if you're not a Jaguar fan and you just happen to tune in to this show, and I do get every now and then I get people that are like, man, you're so negative. You're so, the Jaguars host is so negative. If you don't understand what's been going on here for more than a decade, and probably close to 2 decades, if you don't understand what's going on here, you can't give a lollipop podcast to Jaguars fans. It doesn't work. The Jaguar fans are not going to go for lollipop stuff, and they're not going to go for slogans and little things that you just say to make people feel better. You know, it's like growing up in the hood back in the day and in the 80s, and someone just has a slogan goes, say no to drugs. I mean, that sounds good to people that don't live in the neighborhood, but you also know that it's not really a reality, and it's not about politics. So don't go there. But I'm just telling you, it's not realistic, because you understand the bigger picture. So Jaguar fans aren't going to sit here and listen to some slogans. You got to give them more time. It's the NFL. Everyone's good. Everyone's a warrior. You like everybody. Jaguars have a team full of guys that give great interviews. Interviews do not score touchdowns. Interviews don't tackle people. Interviews don't allow you to line up correctly. You know who's the leader in that? Who's supposed to do that? Your coaching staff. The most incompetent part of this team is the head coach and the staff. That's why I said it burnt the onions. And Trent Baalke, he's a part of the problem too. This is why I wanted them to clean house and start over with a whole new slate. It's an absolute joke. Let me start off with this. A 1-15 team has 4 picks in the top 65 of the draft. Trevor Lawrence is a no-brainer. Travis Etienne gets hurt. I get it. It turns out though, I'm not saying that I was a fan of the pick, but you guys remember I said they were going to do it. I said they're going to pick him. They're going to pick him or somebody like that. And the idea was to add explosiveness to the offense. Does this team need more explosiveness? Absolutely, they need more explosiveness. Did they need more explosiveness when they drafted him? Yes. To get him on the field at the same time with James Robinson, who's one of your best players, was going to be a challenge. But I kind of dig and understood why they did it. I'm not necessarily saying it was the smartest thing to do, but I understood why they did it. But here's why they needed to do it. Because they had $278 million in cap space, and they didn't address explosiveness in free agency. That's it. They went into the draft needing more speed and talent because word is that they lowballed a lot of guys in free agency. And they decided that they weren't going to do anything. It's not beyond a question that guys, when they take over teams, they say, I want to see what we have. Let's look at DJ Chark with different coaching. And don't get me started on strength of performance. Let's look at Laviska Shenault. Let's look at these guys we already have as opposed to just going out and signing some big time free agent. This is why I blame Trent Baalke, because he was here. He should have walked in and told Urban what he had. This is the part of the equation that sometimes people get lost. Baalke was here. They didn't hire him off the street. He was assistant GM last year. He was here. He was here. You don't draft guys in the second and third round on a 1-15 team and pretend that, they'll be fine next year or we're doing this for the future. It's like they're redshirting them. Okay, if you're redshirting them this year, that means you're going to play them next year, right? But if you don't play them this year, next year doesn't matter because it's going to be their rookie year on the field. And if they're not ready next year, then they shouldn't have been picked where you picked them. This ain't that. And you ain't it. Everybody knows it now. And see, now the fans, it's something I put out on social media. Who's going to be the warrior this week? Who's going to be the guy that's the best at what he's ever done and the best he's ever seen? And by him, I mean Urban. He's not Jimmy Johnson-like, because you know what Jimmy Johnson did? Jimmy Johnson trimmed the fat, and Jimmy Johnson didn't praise everybody. Jimmy Johnson ran guys off who weren't good. It's what Nick Saban does at Alabama. Somebody told me that a 4-star recruit will show up for spring practice, and by the end of spring practice, Nick is already telling him, this ain't for you, baby. You'll be out of here by December. But we're going to help you. We're going to help you go somewhere else, but this ain't it. You see, it's not a bad thing to do that. You don't have to praise everybody. And I know they have this culture down there where they want this to be a destination home for everybody, and they're going to take care of the players, and you can't say anything bad about the players. I'll be damned if you can't say anything. If they're not good, they're not good. You ain't talking about their family. You're talking about their ability to do a job. Everybody can't be praised. Everybody can't be a warrior. Because if everybody was good and everybody was a warrior, you wouldn't be 1-6. You lost to Geno Smith, and you made him look like Johnny Unitas. And Seattle ain't that good anyway. And now you go out here against a bad team, coming off of a bye, and you can't even line up. 2 consecutive plays, they had 12 men in the huddle. You can get mad at the players all you want to, but you're standing over there watching them do it. You ain't counting them? Who's making the calls? Where's the defensive coordinator? Where's the position coach saying, no, it's too many guys out there? They literally had too many people on the field twice consecutively. This is absolutely maddening. And I got allergy problems, so forgive me for sniffing. This is absolutely maddening. They are less organized than they were last year. Unreal. We'll talk more about it in the second segment. Where did they go wrong from the start? I already gave you a hint. We're going to talk about where they went wrong from the absolute very beginning of this thing. And I know Jaguar fans, man, I feel so bad for you guys because I said last week, and you guys heard me, I said, I put up a poll that if they get boat raced, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. The problem with morale. I did not think they get boat race. I actually thought they'd win a close game because at this point, this is probably what they should be doing. Anyway, man, we'll talk more about it here in the second segment. Like I said, I apologize to you guys because I wanted this to be a happy day like it was a couple of weeks ago, but obviously it's not going to be. It's just going to be about being real, man. We're going to talk about those burnt onions and that overcooked garlic at the beginning of this meal. That is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then I'm going to tell you where they should be headed in the third segment, where they should go. I'll do all that as we continue more here on a Monday on Locked On Jaguars. If this sounds familiar to you, you have to do something about it. How do you watch your favorite games, your favorite TV shows, plugging in all of these devices? How do you remember your passwords? How? Because I know I have a problem with that, right? And I did have a problem with it until I got in touch with DirecTV and asked about DirecTV Stream. All of these different passwords, different devices, moving stuff around and unplugging and play. You got to stop all of that stuff and get your TV together. And the way you do it is you call DirecTV and ask them about DirecTV Stream because it allows you to bring all of your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before. So you can watch your favorite sports, movies, shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no contract. No annual contract whatsoever. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device is required. Content varies by package. I know the Jaguar fans want the Jaguars to get their football together, right? It just seems like nothing can go right. It's like Murphy's Law. It's like the Jaguars are bad even when they're not supposed to be. And it is absolutely driving the people in this city crazy. And the reason why is because you expected more. One of the things that the Jaguars were looking for was competency. One of the things that they were looking for was details. This is the biggest reason I wanted them to hire Urban Meyer. Is because I know he's not a play caller, but he was going to hire a good play caller, which he's always done, whether it was Dan Mullen or Ryan Day or Tom Herman. I thought he'd hire a good defensive coordinator because defense isn't his forte. He's an offensive guy by trade. Joe Cullen had a reputation of being a good defensive line coach, and it's obvious it's a natural progression to take position coaches, and especially ones that coach in a place the way that you like seeing play, like Baltimore, and you bring him here. So I wasn't totally against that either, right? Because you ain't going to go get Baltimore's defense coordinator to come here because he already has a job. It might not have been a good idea, though, to get a first-year defensive coordinator to go with a first-year head coach. And one of the red flags I remember is when Urban said he's going to do some of the things he does in college, he's going to try to implement them here. And it wasn't really the red flag that I'm making it out to be now, is because a lot of teams are doing that. Andy Reid does it in Kansas City. They've taken a lot of offense and have taken a lot of the principles and already incorporated them into the NFL. The red flag part of it comes like he felt that there was need to do more of that, and that's the problem. You don't need to. That change happened 10 years ago. That's why quarterbacks can come in now and play early as opposed to back before. It wasn't. You ain't playing no rookie. You play a rookie, you're going to lose. I remember an NFL guy told me that when I was in Washington, D.C. With the Washington football team when Heath Schuler got drafted. I was standing right there. Reggie Brooks, the running back, told me, I said, man, y'all might be pretty good. This Heath kid, I watched him down south. He was like, we ain't winning with no rookie. He said it. Andre Collins was standing there. He said it. Sterling Palmer said it. It was like the Temptations. They all said it at one time. It was my old job I used to have, and they used to frequent the place where I was, and they basically all looked at me at the same time and were like, woo, in unison, we ain't winning with no rookie. Well, that's changed because college they've started to implement a lot more of the offense. But some of these principles that Urban has, that you need to take them back to college. And one of the things that I said when he came in here, chest puffed out, talking about strength and conditioning and all of this stuff, and they tried to hire Chris Doyle. They hired Chris Doyle and then fired him a day later. And first of all, that was the first blip right there. And I don't care what anybody tells you, that was a horrible idea. And you're sitting there thinking that you're going to come in here and out NFL people. One of the things that I said was there are a lot of strength and conditioning coaches and a lot of coaches that are going to look at him and go, what are you talking about? You ain't going to outdo us. This is the pros. How are you better at that than anybody else? Do the Jaguars look stronger than anybody? Do they look more nutritious? If that's a way of looking at it, do they look more nutritious? Do they look stronger than any one of you? I'm just guessing. I'm asking. And I ain't gonna sit here and tell you I'm the workout king, and maybe it ain't supposed to happen overnight. But if that's what you're leading with, you eating bison instead of beef? I don't understand. How are you better than the rest of the league at that? How are you leading with that? If this is a destination place where players get taken care of, because you saw in the past how Jalen Ramsey and Yannick Ngakoue left, and you said that can't happen here. You know, those two guys, you know what they would hate? They hate losing. They don't need you to pat them on the back and call them a warrior all day long. They need you to put some dogs on the field. And y'all know, I know y'all feel bad about those guys, but my thing is they don't care about praise. They don't care about you saying that they're the best you've ever seen at that position. They work harder than anybody else. At what point do you realize that a 1-6 team has bad guys on it? Not bad people as far as character is concerned, but they're just not the war daddies that you claim they are. I think leadership, you have to have tough love for people. Hold them accountable. That can't happen. Guys dropping balls, lining up funny, but then they come out and give great interviews and they're funny and they're charismatic. I don't give a damn about somebody being happy and happy-go-lucky with me and funny or members of the media, members of the written press that sit there. Nobody cares about that stuff. Folks are sick and tired of having a hangover every Sunday night or Monday morning because of a bad football team. That's what people are tired of. They burnt the onions from the very beginning with what they tried to lead with here, this entire messaging. Because I was like this, okay, if that's your bell cow, it's about strength and conditioning and performance, and it's all about making this destination place and giving the best of the best of the best of the best. Let's go. But remember, it comes down to blocking and tackling and execution. And it comes down to talent. They tried to recruit people during free agency. You know how you recruit NFL people? Show them the cash. That's it. Their resumes, their tape. You're not selling them on coming here and playing for less money. I've heard this word mismatch. You got to have a mismatch guy. Okay, you're either going to sign them in free agency or you're going to draft them, right? You've done a piss poor job this year drafting mismatch guys, and you didn't do anything in free agency to get a whole bunch of guys that really, really make a difference. And oh, by the way, Jaguar fans, most of the guys they signed this year are on 3-year deals. So this 1 year right here, where it's supposed to be, a lot of people keep telling me, man, you're being too hard on them, man. You have to give them time. It's a learning process. Well, this is one of the 3 years. This year is one of the 3 years that guys like Shaq Griffin are on the contract. Jamal Agnew. The guys who have actually looked pretty decent. This is one of their 3. You think they're miraculously going to wake up next year and be that much better? That'll be year 2 of the 3. And if they happen to be good in year 3, which at this point I don't think is going to happen, but if they happen to be good in year 3, their contracts will be up. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do with Cam Robinson? All of this stuff talking about making this a destination place, and then you get mad when other players talk about how nobody cares down here. This is not a destination place. This is a joke right now. It's like here's the scary part. With Urban in charge, it's a bigger joke than it was before he got here. Nobody expected them to all of a sudden change and be more talented and better. But what they did expect was competency. What they did expect was a team that knows how to handle days off. Yeah, Dewan Smoot yesterday said, yeah, we were sluggish because we ain't seen each other since the Wednesday after the bye week. And I don't know the context that he said it in, but the point is you can't ever get to the point where the thing that's supposed to make you better is the thing that you're saying made you worse. Time off and rest and a time to really, really look at things and to gather yourself and extra time to prepare is supposed to be a plus, not a minus. I don't get it. And you shouldn't get it either. I'm going to tell you where they should go and how they should approach this. In segment number 3 here on a Monday, where the Jaguars fell yesterday 31-7 in the Pacific Northwest against the Seattle Seahawks. I hadn't even mentioned the score yet, man. Isn't that something? The fact that I had not even mentioned the score. Because everybody saw what they saw already. Hang on for segment 3 here on Locked On Jaguars. I'll give it to you in just a second. Did you know that Built Bar has so many delicious flavors? You didn't know that, did you? You thought all they had was salted caramel because that's all I ever talk about because it just happens to be my favorite Built Bar. But no, they have 9 great flavors, and there's something for everyone. When you talk to a Built Bar fan, they're definitely passionate about their favorites, like me. If you don't know the Built Bar flavors, well, you're missing out because they have coconut, cherry barcia, raspberry, mint brownie, double chocolate, salted caramel, strawberry, orange, cookies and cream, and German chocolate. Not only are Built Bars the best tasting, but they're healthy too. They're not all chalky and waxy like all of those other protein bars. The macros in Built Bars are 17 to 18 grams of protein. Calories range from 130 to 180. Only 4 to 5 grams of sugar, 425, not 45, and only 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. Order today and get the grasshopper cookie or raspberry or whatever you like. Built Bar is the official protein bar of the U.S. track and field team. Isn't that neat? Here's what you have to do, man. Go to BuiltBar.com or go to Built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15 and you'll get 15% off your order. The promo code again is LOCKED15 and you'll get 15% off your next order at Built Bar. Jump on it right now, man, over at Built.com. Check them out on Twitter at @bar_Built for all the latest news. And BetOnline is back and better than ever and with a new web interface to start the basketball season and more props and odds and lines, way more than before. I'm going to tell y'all, I took a whooping yesterday. Those dudes in Vegas know what they're doing, man, because the Rams did not cover the spread by 1 point. It's amazing. So I took a whooping yesterday on my bets. But the thing is I'm way ahead because I've been dealing with BetOnline all year, and you can do the same thing because it's your number one spot for basketball and football action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just put the promo code in, Locked On. That's right. Locked On is the promo code to receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. From basketball, football, baseball. I watched the World Series last night. Very good. Boxing and UFC and all your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. It's BetOnline where the game starts. All right, man, we're rolling along here on a Monday, a loser Monday. The Jaguars lose 31-17 to the Seattle Seahawks. Everyone wants to put it on travel. They don't travel well out west, and I don't know how getting on a plane makes you forget that there's only 11 guys on the field. And then you get penalized for it, and all y'all still stand there and you do it again. You know what it reminds me of? Let's just say it rained earlier, right? and you're standing on the corner and a car comes by and they hit a puddle of water and it splashes all over you. You go in the house and change your clothes and come back and you stand right in the same spot and another car comes and does it again. What's wrong with you? I just don't get it. How do you have 12 people? Do y'all practice together? Is somebody counting? Do you look up and see another guy that plays your same position? Like, what are you here for? I promise. If I came on here to do a podcast and someone was already on here, I'd be like, we can't do this together. You know what I mean? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't understand how they could be so incompetent at this point. So where do we go from here? They're going to get skull drug versus Buffalo this weekend. They'll probably play better because this is what they do. They'll play better against a good team, or the good team will just be like, yeah, let them hang around for a while and then we'll beat them and get out of here. So they'll probably play better this week against the Bills. As it turns out right now, they're picking 4th in the draft. They have a lot of free agency money. But before we even get to that, here's what they should do. They should find another NFL front office guy who's a scout and run Trent Baalke up out of here. They should tell Urban Meyer he has to change his staff. They should remove his power as GM. And if they decide to do that and he wants to leave because he says that's not why I came, then they should call a moving service and help him out the door. This is not working. Is Shad Khan willing to do that? See, there's 2 things you can do. You can just fire him straight out, or you can change the circumstances and the situations that he coaches in, and maybe he'll say, you know what, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want to do this. That's not what I want to do. I thought I could have total control over this and total control over that, and that's why I came here. But now you're stripping me of it, and this is not going to work out. And you can mutually agree to part ways without compensating them, and you can start over, and you can go hire Byron Leftwich or Brian Daboll or somebody of that nature. But the way this is going right now, there's no way the way that thing is structured that this is ever going to turn around and change to the point of positivity that you all want to see. The trade deadline is coming. I don't think they're going to do anything, but we do have the NFL trade deadline show coming up very, very soon. Don't miss the live NFL trade deadline show with reaction to every move, plus a second half season preview and much more. Catch the live show from 3 to 5 on November 2nd on the Locked On NFL YouTube page. So that'll be tomorrow. The trade deadline show is happening tomorrow. So you guys make sure you tune in. I don't think the Jaguars are going to be active in it. I think at this point, they've married themselves to the team that they have. The only advice I could give you guys, if you want to have a little bit of sanity, is don't let anybody talk you into believing that. Yeah, it takes time when you take over a 1-15 club. I get that. But you can also think that while it takes time, the other thing that's true is that the people that you're giving patience to are not it. They're not mutually exclusive topics. I think it's the same thing. I said, yeah, while it is going to take time, there are certain things that you look for that you're not seeing. And don't let the fact that we have to be patient and it takes time dilute the fact that you also understand exactly what you're looking at. And what you're looking at is a staff that is pretty much, they're not going to win anything with these people unless they do wholesale changes. And if this is a learned year, at some point Urban has to come out and he has to say that. He has to be very honest and open and transparent. And you can't throw slogans at Jaguar fans. You can't throw all of that stuff at Jaguar fans. You have to tell them the truth. we burnt the onions. We need to take a different approach. You got players, man, coming out in interviews saying they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed. If everyone wanted everybody to forget about all of that stuff, all that off the field stuff that happened in Ohio, there's two ways to do it. You either be real good at football or be real bad at football. So now nobody's talking about that. But guess what? When you're real bad at football, that's not good either, because now you're starting to see little ideas that I think players secretly think this dude doesn't know what he's doing. I know for a fact people in the building think it. I ain't gonna throw nobody up under the bus because that's not, a lot of stuff is off the record. But I've seen people tell me this ain't it. This ain't it. Onions burn all over the place. I tell you, man, it's not good. Listen to the Peacock and Williamson podcast if you want some good, because Peacock and Williamson have a wonderful podcast that you need to like, subscribe to, and check out on the daily. Brian Peacock is an NFL analyst, and Matt Williamson is a former NFL scout. They need to hire Matt Williamson. That's what they need to do. But the Jaguars are not doing good right now, and I'm sure that Peacock and Williamson have some things to say about that. So make sure you check that out, subscribe, and like as well. Hey, sorry, this was what it was today, 31-7. Geno Smith is now the new Johnny Unitas of the NFL, I guess, because the Jaguars made him look like a very good player. It's Monday, man. You guys know the drill. I'm lost for words, and that's why I'm sitting here like this. Like, I want to say something to you, but I don't want to lie to you. They suck. I don't, and you don't, and we all we got. So thank you for joining the Locked On Jaguars podcast here on a daily basis. I'll bring you more stuff, man. I'm going to keep giving it to you, but I'm going to keep giving it to you raw and real. If you're one of those people that want sunshine and rainbows, I ain't going to tell you don't need to come here, but I'm going to give you the truth before I give you anything else. And that's what we do here on Locked On Jaguars, because it's your team every day. Y'all keep taking care of each other. The best thing about this team is the city and the fans. And don't you let anyone tell you anything differently. Until next time, I'm Tony Wiggins, Locked On Jaguars. You guys take care.